What's up, everybody? Coach Corey here again today with a new video for you. Today I want to talk about the I versus the self. Alright, so within every single person there's two entities. There's the I, which is who they truly are, and there's the self, which is who they are in the current moment. So both sides are represented by positivity and negativity. With the I, or the true self, you have these traits. Positivity, it's a physical thing. It's the physical representation of you. You're productive, happiness, stability, self-love, ambitious, goal-oriented. All right, think of this as who you wish you were. Right? Have you ever found yourself sitting there thinking, man, I fucking wish I was that person? Or you catch yourself in the moment and you just feel different, but then you suppress it because that's how we're taught, right? We're taught to sit down, shut up, and not fucking feel anything. Especially with the masculine self, you're taught feelings are for pussies, right? That's what we're taught at a young age. You don't feel anything. You don't cry when you're hurt. You don't get upset. You can yell when you're mad. That's the only emotion that a young boy growing up is taught, that when he's mad he can yell, but then he gets reprimanded for it, so he no longer yells. And then that causes all these muscular imbalances and all this shit with your nervous system, where your jaw's tight, your neck's tight, and you go to a chiropractor and they adjust you, and then it gets worse, and it keeps getting worse because you keep suppressing yourself. You go to your 9-to-5 job, you get pissed off, but you grit your teeth and you bear it, right? That's what they tell you, grit your teeth and bear it. You don't show your emotions. That not showing your emotions is the self. It's centered around negativity. It's all in your head. It's all a mental game, right? You're unstable, laziness, depression, anxiousness. You're unmotivated, no ambition. This can take many forms. This can take on the form of being depressed all the time and not knowing why, and turning into an alcoholic, because that's how you cope with not feeling good, right? You go to the bar after work and you pound a couple. Or you go to the bar every weekend and you do shot after shot and you pass out on the bar and you take a cab home and you feel depressed, right? And you define yourself by getting drunk on the weekends and drinking coffee when Monday comes to go back to your job. It's also a master deceiver, right? The self will tell you that it's not the problem. You'll talk yourself into thinking you are not the problem, when in reality the phrase, I am not myself, is the truest, the most true phrase that anybody's ever uttered in their life, right? Because the I is not the self. Think of it as taking a ball and cutting the ball in half. There are two halves of the same whole, but the self is not the I. They are the same, right? But they're different. So, ways that you can determine which one you are in the current moment is just to look at how you're feeling, what your thoughts are, what your ambition is, right? If you are sitting in life right now and you don't know where you're going, don't know what you're doing, you're probably representing the self right now. No goals, no ambitions, no dreams, you turn to drugs or alcohol with your depression, your anxiety, you don't know what to do. That is the self taking over, right? So ways that you can get from this side to that side are simple, right? You can meditate. I meditate every morning. I wake up, meditate for 15-20 minutes a day. You can use meditative music. I actually have a guided meditation I'll link down below that I posted, first video I posted on this channel, as well as practicing yoga. It's very relaxing. It centers you, balances you, grounds you. Going barefoot outside on the grass can help to ground you and connect you to the earth, help you feel better. Working out is a great one. You want to feed into the I. You want to make yourself feel better, right? Getting on a balanced diet, getting on a better diet, something that doesn't make you feel like shit about yourself. getting on just a good workout, going for a walk. I take my dog for a walk every single day. Pop in an audiobook. I use Audible. I walk 3.5 miles every day with her. You know, take her to the dog park, bring her back. Get yourself a pet. You know, pets are a great way for you to connect with something that's not you and to feel more responsible. See, when we're growing up, maybe your situation is different from somebody else's, right? But maybe your situation is you have pet, maybe a goldfish. You know, all the parents always want their kids to start with a goldfish because they don't want to teach them responsibility. They want to make them be responsible, right? Maybe the goldfish died, so you never wanted another pet. That's great for your parents. They don't want to fucking pay for that shit. They don't want you to grow. See, that's the difference between somebody wanting something for you and somebody just wanting something for themselves. Parents are very selfish. In my experience, I've witnessed, not personally, but I've witnessed being an outside viewer of some different parental relationships with children. I've been able to observe. I always observe in public. I observe everywhere I go. For instance, I saw a father with his children out to eat one day, right? When I was eating Taco Bell all the time, we were out at Taco Bell. And the father had finished. The two sons had finished. And I don't think the mother was there. The mother might have finished their food. And this daughter, she's about 8, probably 6 or 7, right? Was about halfway done. She's just chewing, taking her time. And the father looks at her and says, "Will you hurry the fuck up? You're always the last one eating, holding us up." Now, put yourself in that position. Put yourself in the shoes of that 6 or 7-year-old little girl. You're eating, you know, you're enjoying your time with your family. You're trying to enjoy your good food, and all of a sudden this authoritative figure who you look up to, who is your parent, says, "It's always your fault that we're late. It's always your fault. Your fault, your fault, your fault," right? So that gets ingrained in your head. And the I, well, fuck the positivity, that's gone now, right? So as you grow older, you know, you start less and less physically representing yourself with your I, and then you're trying to be productive, right? Trying to go through life. Maybe you get into middle school and then up into high school and you're trying to be productive and you think you're amazing, you're doing all you're supposed to be doing, and then the teacher looks at you and says, "What's taking you so long? Why are you doing that?" And then you regress into yourself, right? You're thinking you're being productive, writing your paper or doing your essay or, you know, taking that test, but then the teacher tells you to hurry up because you're being slow and you're the last one doing it. Okay, so there goes your productiveness, because even when you do something right, you're still fucking up. So your happiness slowly goes away, because why would you be happy? You know, maybe you told a joke to somebody or somebody told a joke and you started laughing and somebody said, "Shut up, you're being too loud," right? One of your friends gets mad because they don't like the joke, tells you to shut up. Okay, well, there goes your happiness. You used to be a funny person, and then, you know, so you're becoming more and more unstable because as you grow older, your life is a representation of the stability that you were raised around. So, you know, maybe mom and dad were divorced, or dad was cheating on mom and you caught him, but he told you to, you know, shut up and stay quiet, don't tell mom, whatever the situation is. So your stability is gone. You start hating yourself. Your ambition's gone. Why would you be ambitious if every single time you try to be ambitious, somebody knocks you down, tells you you're doing it wrong? You know, you do an amazing project when you're in high school, junior year, right? Big project, you're thinking, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna get an A+ on this, I'm gonna get, you know, recognized for it. Fuck that. Why would you have ambition when somebody tells you it looks like shit, right? And maybe they were joking. Maybe they're saying, "Oh, well, you know, it just looks like shit." That's not, you know, joking around like, you know, teenagers do and people do, and they try to razz each other because that's how, you know, people joke around. But inside you, nobody realizes that from the get-go, you were raised to not show self-love. So your true self is gone now, and all that's left is, you know, you have some goals in your head. But then you're sitting and you're talking, and you're 18 now, getting ready to graduate high school, and you start talking to your friends and your family, and everybody tells you that You shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Be practical. Be realistic. Right? They're telling you you're not realistic with what you want to do in your life. So then you start regressing and you're like, well, fuck, what should I do? And then you go into this slump and this depression, and then all your goals are gone. So now there's nothing in the I. It doesn't exist anymore. You are now the self. So over the years, you've grown your negativity. You're telling yourself mentally that you are not good enough because you were told your whole life you're not good enough. You become lazy because why would you work on something that's never going to pan out? You get depressed, and then you get anxious when people are trying to talk to you about getting out of your shell, right? You're unmotivated, you have no ambition, and then the self starts deceiving you into thinking that's who you are. That's the wrong way to live. And it's sad because a lot of people in this life are grown up, they grow up with this negativity, and their true self is completely washed away. You know, they're no longer the I, they're just the self. And it's sad because, you know, from the get-go, you're told to never show emotions. When you cry, you know, you're picked up and, oh, don't cry, don't cry. Okay, well, I'm crying because I just crushed my toe on the table, let me cry. But it's a parental instinct to pick up your child and soothe them. So from the get-go, you're taught, don't cry when you're hurt, right? You fall down and you're meant to get back up. You skin your knees, you get back up. You know, big kids don't cry. You try to talk, and maybe it's a family gathering and you're talking and somebody says, shut up, you know, stop talking. Or, you know, maybe your voice is elevated and, oh, you use your inside voice. What is an inside voice? What is an outside voice? All you have is a voice, but it's being stifled because people don't want to hear it. So then you're put in timeout because you're being loud, or you're being bad, or you get mad and you yell and they're telling you to quiet down. So then when something else happens, maybe you're quieter and you don't say or you don't express how you're feeling. So then the self starts coming through more and more, and you start coping different ways. And when you grow up, your neuromuscular imbalances start showing. Maybe you walk with a limp, maybe your back is tight, and all you stretch and you stretch and you stretch, and you're stretching the wrong shit. You should be stretching your mind and your emotions, but instead you're stretching your physical representation. But if you are stretching the physical representation of yourself as the I, it's not going to do shit until the self is taken care of. So, like I said, do things like meditation, yoga, go for walks, start working out, eating better, positive self-talk. I don't give a fuck how you feel about yourself. The one thing you do every single morning is you look at yourself in the mirror, and maybe you start mentally saying it. Maybe you write it down. Maybe you start with the first two words. Maybe you just start with the first word. But you look yourself dead center in the eyes in the mirror and you say, I love you. Because until you can love yourself, you will not get shit out of this world. Until you get some ambition, until you have goals, until you have dreams, until you have motivation, nothing is going to do shit for you. Because you don't have the drive to do it. So you look yourself dead in the fucking eyes in the mirror and you say, I love you. And you mean it. You don't just say it to go through the motions. You mean it. And if you can't say it without meaning it, then don't fucking say it at all. Say it mentally. Look at yourself and mentally say it. Maybe write it down and look at it when you roll over in bed in the mornings. But you need to get rid of the self and make way for the I, or the true self. Because until then, shit's gonna be fucked up. Done.